Greetings. Welcome to Tunisia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. It's a beautiful day out here in creation. I hope that you are having a wonderful day whenever it is that you see this video. I want to thank you for stopping by, and for those of you who are constantly giving back to the channel, sending positive energy, sending your donations, giving a hello, letting me know that you're out here in the building, in these sister locks, knotted locks, micro locks, small locks, little locks, streets. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Today I'm going to be doing a very short, to the point video on some of the things that are causing your hair to break or thin or causing you to lose locks. Now, about 8 or 9 months ago, I had 2 videos. You can search the channel. One is called 21 Reasons Why Your Locks Are Thinning. Another one is called 21 Solutions for Thinning Locks, things that you can do. You all know from this channel and from my presence here and the kind of content that I've been bringing you for some years now that I'm really big on taking creative control over your hair care destiny and freeing yourself to make the choices that you need to make to ensure the integrity and the longevity of your lock journey, regardless of whatever kind of locks you have. All right, before I even get going too far into this, I'm just going to say unabashedly, I'm going to say very clearly, let me say this, I'm going to say very clearly that I chose to transition to knotted locks because I don't need to worry about these things anymore. Okay, let something new come up on the plate and I can deal with that. But this old stuff, I don't need to worry about it anymore because of a decision that I made. But everybody's not made that decision yet. You make it in your time, in due time, in perfect divine timing when it's your turn. So in the meantime, there's some things that you just need to be very mindful of that maybe heretofore you have either kind of glazed over, maybe you took it for granted, maybe you didn't realize how serious it was, maybe you have let something continue and you're watching this video at a perfect time so that you can be reminded of some things that you need to be vigilant about. Or perhaps you've already let a situation escalate and escalate and escalate, and now you're not just dealing with thinning, but you have large swaths of your hair or scalp that are showing. You have falling hair, you have dry hair, you have hair or scalp that is very much irritated, or you're losing locks, or maybe you're even considering, shaving your hair. And so I'm here to help you to think around this issue that you're having so that you can come to a conclusion about what it is you need to do. I'm here to help you understand the gravity of the situation and how serious it is that you take a hard, critical look at what you are currently doing, because if your hair is hurting from it, it is not working. Period. End of discussion. If you are suffering from a way of life, I don't care if it is suffering because of the way you're eating. I don't care if your sex life is suffering because of the relationship you have with your partner. I don't care if you're suffering on the job because of the dysfunction in the workplace that you are allowing to penetrate your energy field. Anytime that life is showing you yourself, you need to understand that you're playing a role in that. You're taking an active role in participating, and you need to figure out what it is you can turn around in order to get the result that you deserve, and in order to get the result that you most definitely require and are able to give yourself. And so it requires that we take a look at things that we don't always want to think about. A lot of times it's easier not to think. A lot of times it's easier not to have to do anything. It's easier to just keep things going the way they're going. It's easier to listen to other people tell you what the solution is. That's why I'm telling you it's time that you listen to yourself. It's time that you look at the objective data, and it's time that you decide if what you are being told even makes sense. You get to be in the driver's seat. You get to make the decision. You get to be in charge of your hair care destiny. So step up to the plate and assume the position. First and foremost, with a lot of these little lock styles, we deal with the issues of the grid. Okay, the grid in and of itself may not seem like a problem, but I want you to take a very common sense, analytical approach to what a grid is. A grid is a set of lines that cross each other, that intersect at points. Those lines are determined, just like a highway or just like erosion alongside of your house. Those lines are determined to be clear of debris, clear of new hair, clear of anything that stands in the way. We want to keep those lines. We're going to keep making those lines. We're going to do whatever we have to do to keep those lines. So those lines become etched in stone. And eventually, those lines become almost numb to anything growing back. The same way erosion happens. The same way y'all heard me complain about Albie can be outside for an hour and there'll be a track in the yard. A week, we got a swamp in the back because she's just constantly running back and forth, back and forth. The cement itself has her tracks in it. The cement itself that you would think could not hold the tracks of a dog, but she's taking the same route over and over and over. So eventually there's a path that is carved. And if this happens to be your hair, you have to understand that that path that is carving there is causing hair not to grow there. It's encouraging hair not to grow there. And any hair that does grow there is going to be pulled into a direction that perhaps may go against where the hair naturally wants to go. So it's not just the grid in and of itself, which it is when you really think about it and break this down. That in and of itself can be a deteriorative process and it's even worse when you are obsessed with it. When you're obsessed with it, your loctician needs for the parts to be perfect. Your hair may be groomed and cut and clipped and moved in such a way, manipulated in such a way so as the boxes are perfect, the grid is perfect. Your locks may be tightened very tight in order to maintain what is called the integrity of the grid, instead of giving your hair the integrity of freedom that it actually needs in order to thrive. Over time, depending upon your unique hair disposition, your DNA, genomes, your inheritance, and everything else, the habits that you have, the other variables, how often you get your hair retied, and all these other millions of things that are factors, over time, many of you won't be able to escape what that will eventually begin to cause. Many of you are able to see that now because you're seeing more and more space. And the thing is, a lot of times, by the time you notice it, it's already progressed. It's kind of like the way we manifest anything in our reality. By the time we see it, we are hog tied and collared at that vibration, and everything we see in our outer reality is a reflection of what we've been doing inside. So in order to change it, it's going to take some time because the fallout already is immense. The same is true with your locks. By the time they start falling, you can rest assured you've got a systemic issue that's going to start to spread around your hair in key areas, in strategic areas, if you don't hop on it and if you don't decide what your level of intervention is going to be. By the time you are thirsty, you are already dehydrated, right? It's the same principle. Things are already escalating. So it's important that you inspect what you expect. Okay, so the first thing is obsession with the grid. The second thing is inspecting what you expect. You cannot sit down in the chair and be oblivious to what is going on. You cannot put your hair and entrust it to someone else. You wouldn't leave your diamonds laying out. You wouldn't loan them to people indiscriminately. So why would you yourself sit somewhere and allow something to go on and on and on and on that you don't quite feel good about? We had a sister in the comments the other day, amazing message. Essentially, she was saying her loctician was trying to encourage her to believe that she was the reason why her locks were falling out. Okay? Now, this is a new loctician. She's had these locks for some time. She has not had any real issues up until this point during the time that she began to go to this particular woman. And this is what was stated. I've watched your YouTube. I went searching to see if anyone else was experiencing hair loss. My locks were so healthy at one time until I started going somewhere else. And now my hair is thinning, and she's saying it's me, but I think it's her. Now, here's the thing that you got to understand. Stop doubting yourself. You have to live at the level of the heart. You have to live at the level of what you feel, and you have to dig and excavate, and you have to define for yourself why you feel that way, and you have to understand that your eye, your first eye is this eye. That's your first eye. These are the second eyes. This is your spiritual eye. It sees, it knows, it is transcendent. It is the ever-present witnessing awareness. When you feel how you feel about a situation, barring any contamination of your mind, any fear-based thinking, and any just downright low vibrational negativity. You have to trust what you are being told. That is very sensitive information that is coming up from within your being. The part of you that is not in denial, the part of you that is not in resistance, the part of you that does not need to argue about anything. You feel as though something that is going on with that individual is impacting you negatively, and this individual is blaming you. When she does my hair, I can hear a sound like it's being torn or something. And until I saw your video, I had no clue, but now I know what's going on. It's only in the front and back area that is thinning. This lady is texting to buy the magical hair growth serum. She puts in all caps, I do not want to lose any more hair. I mentioned to her it's time to make a difficult decision. Because none of us want to lose more hair, but how many of us are enslaved to the practices that have unleashed this hair loss? And now we live in fear. Now we have fearful follicles instead of fearless follicles. We have fearful follicles. When you come to the knowledge that something that you're doing, or a person that you're going to, or their practice, or the way that they use the tension, or the frequency of the retighteners, or whatever it is, the fact they tell you that not to put any oil on your hair, whatever it is that they're telling you that doesn't ring in your soul as truth. When you come to that realization, you have to make a decision. Okay, what now? My hair is stressed. My hair is stressed. So you get it to grow back, and you start getting it to grow back, but you still sit in for the same level of stress. You only have so many alternatives before you get to the point where you have to realize this is not going to work and I'm going to lose all my hair, and the person that I'm entrusting with my hair is trying to blame me. This person is so, I don't even know what the word is, because sometimes people are just ignorant, and ignorance is not it's not a bashing word. It's not a word that's an attack. It's a state of mind. It's a person that simply doesn't know. They are moving about, doing the retightenings, and they haven't even made the connection between hair trauma, the extra stress, the repeated ritual that is causing the trauma over and over and over is eventually going to amount to something. It's going to have a cumulative effect. They're not thinking that. They're just going through the hair. She's listening to the noise. It doesn't dawn on her that this could be creating hair loss. Or if it does, she doesn't care enough. But for sure, when you bring something to her attention, she's blaming the individual, or she's blaming you, whoever you may be. You may be thousands of you out here. This person is not on the leading edge of increasing their knowledge about something. They're not on the leading edge of critical thinking. They're not on the leading edge of using common sense. But you are going to be leading in, showing and manifesting the consequences of somebody else's negligence, ignorance, unconsciousness, whatever it is. Rest assured that you're going to be the one to pay the price. So when you feel like this, trust how you feel. And if it means you have to take over your hair and you have to spend the weekend doing watching YouTube videos, just watching the multitude and hundreds of thousands of people out here who are showing you how to retighten your own hair, to step back and take the stress off. If it means that you're going in every 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks for these retightenings and you don't feel like that's necessary, and somebody else is telling you, well, you got to come in, all my clients come in, and if you don't, you wait an extra week, it's an extra $50 for each extra week. Like, is this a business? Is this about the Benjamins? Is this about my particular unique hair growth cycle? Or is this about you layering something on me that says you don't see me as an individual, and you're not willing to entertain what my own intuitive thoughts and my own objective experiences with my hair? That cannot override what it is that you've decided you're going to do, regardless of what my hair is showing you. You've got to remove yourself from that situation. You have to arrest the situation. You need some type of supplementation. Okay? I am Melanin Magic's Magical Hair Growth Serum. We have the Fearless Follicles. We have our premium blend. Many of you are using both of these and getting great results. These are going to help your hair when it's healthy. These are going to help your hair when it's not healthy. But you got to do something. You can't just sit there. If you're not using oil, you've got to really begin to supplement your hair with something that is going to give it resilience, that's going to give it the extra nutritive support that it needs so that it can begin to strengthen. Many of you are going to need to take over your own retightenings because the retightenings that you may be getting may be too harsh. If you're hearing the tool rip through your hair, clearly they are too fast. They're being done very disregardfully, and that's not a word, but it is right now. There's no regard for what this is doing to your root bed, how this is affecting your follicles, and even the discomfort it is creating while you just sit there in the chair and you feel the tool, whatever the type of tool is, catching on the hair. All locticians don't do retightenings like that. Some are extremely tender. It means you need to find another loctician, or you need to take over your own hair care regimen. It may mean that you have so much thinning that you are no longer going to be a good candidate for the type of lock that you have, which means you may need to consider taking a rest from the whole thing. You may need to consider marrying and transitioning to a thicker lock. You may need to decide you want to transition to knotted locks. You may be a perfect candidate for that. But if your hair loss has gotten beyond a certain point, it'll get to a point where you may not even be a good candidate for knotted locks. But whatever goes on, your hair needs a break, and you have to be fearless in your decision making. You have to say, you know what? Miss Ali's been getting her retightenings up until she shifted to knotted locks. She was doing her retightenings pretty much every 12 weeks anyway. She never lost any hair. Her hair is thicker. All the ladies that switched and moved from Sisterlocks to knotted locks were told to let their hair get 3 months of new growth before they got their consultation with Miss Blake's. You've heard them talk on the channel. You'll hear 2 more talk this Sunday. They're not suffering. In fact, the very thing that they were told might have scared them in the beginning, because you are being told, just like this lady was, that's not the only testimonial, she was told that she needed to come in more often, and that was why her locks were thinning. When in fact, that's going to increase and exacerbate the problem over time. And the locks are going to continue to thin even more. And the thinner they get, the more you're going to be told that the reason why they're thinning is because you're not coming in often enough. Why am I being told that? Why is everything else free game except this thing hurts, these things are too tight, you're pulling on the same area of my hair, just like the erosion of the grid. I'm having this, my hair is being beat up in the same way, in the same place every single time. But no one is asking the common sense question. Nobody is drawing these simple conclusions. Why is your hair thinning? Because what you're doing currently is not working. And you need to find out what can work better for your hair. You need oil on your hair. Many of your hair may be dry. It may need more moisture. It most certainly does. You need more water. You need not to be told not to put these most hair-loving ingredients on your hair. Your hair needs more time in between retightenings. Your hair essentially needs a rest. Now, here's the dilemma. Do you keep going in when you're suffering from the very thing that you're going in for? Do you keep listening to the person who keeps telling you to keep coming in, who keeps raking that tool through your hair in a very careless way? Do you keep coming in, or do you stand in your power and say, you know what? I'm going to have to take some time off from this. In the meantime, I'm going to give my hair a rest. I'm going to give this whole area a rest, because if I don't, all these locks can really fall out. You can see the proof. You're starting to see more and more scalp. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to get stronger. It's not going to get stronger if you continue the beat down, if you continue the trauma, if you continue the dysfunctional regimen, whatever it may be. And that doesn't have to be the only thing. There could be a multitude of things. For some of you, it's the kind of tool. For others of you, it's the fact that your scalp is so unclean and so inflamed that the hair starts to fall from the scalp because the scalp is unhealthy, because you haven't been using oils, you haven't been taking care of your hair, or there's something else in your hair care routine that needs to be switched up. But the point of this video is to help you to understand that something has gone awry, and that you must take action, and that you must look at this in a very critical way. If you had a baby and that baby was continuing to get a rash and that baby was in pain, and what you were doing was not working, you would have to come up with another plan. You simply would have to. when you continue to subject a part of your body to the same trauma, eventually you have scar tissue. Eventually you have the body's trauma response, which can be scarring, which can be an inability to regenerate or an inability to bounce back with the same level of resilience as a previous time period. So all I'm saying here is rethink your routines, rethink oil, rethink water, rethink the frequency of your retightenings, rethink your loctician. It can be that simple. Rethink giving your hair a rest, supplementing your hair, giving it some time to grow back, and then possibly deciding you want to do your own retightenings. Rethink the type of lock you have. Maybe it's time for you to consider transitioning to knotted locks. I could see the writing on the wall. You didn't have to tell me twice. I already knew, and my locks have been healthy. Y'all already know that. But I did not need to go down the road that my forefathers went in order to see that something was wrong with the direction that I was traveling. I already knew. I knew. I've been talking about this for years on the channel. Okay? Because it simply doesn't make sense. How much trauma can the hair withstand? I saw too many people when I first had my locks in many years ago. Sisters with long locks, and they were getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and there's more and more scalp showing, and it was just getting bad. And so as I began to talk to more of you on the channel and to hear your personal stories, which is one of the reasons why I developed the blend, to share one of my blends with you that I've always used on my hair to give it more resilience, to give it more strength in the midst of all the things that I was doing in my hair. You guys know I take my ends out consistently. I've colored my hair dozens of times, at least over a dozen, maybe 15 times now. And thankfully for the things that I'm putting back in my hair to help give my hair the resilience that it needs within some of the practices. I even took over retightening the front part of my hair. I made sure that I did that. There are a lot of things that you can do. Educate yourself, make the decision that's best for you, but at the very least, listen to your heart. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't know what you are talking about. We live in an abundant universe. There are so many locticians. There are people who can care for you in a way that affirms the truth that you know about your hair, and you don't have to be gaslit or made to feel crazy by someone who refuses to take responsibility for the fact that their chair is the only chair that you are in. You're with Tanisha Ali, here to hopefully help you to gain clarity and to shift your mindset about what is best in your hair care journey, and to take charge of being an active participant in your own experience here with these locks. Loving on you, thanking you. Please give an equal exchange of energy by giving this video a thumbs up, liking it, sharing, commenting. Leave comments in the comment section. I do get around to reading them. I like to see what the pulse is. If there's something in particular you'd like me to talk about, I'd love to hear about that. If you want to reach Miss Melissa Blakes, who is the creator of Knotted Locks, you can find her information in my description. You can also find the information to the I Am Melanin Magic website, so that you may go there and pick up some of the natural hair and skin care products made by my own hands. Lots of love to you. Thanks again. Have a beautiful rest of your day.